how is this attack being seen in the US Canadian communities? It seems like the Khalistanis are emboldened or they are desperate because a lot of their members are, as I said, either dying in some in gang-related issues or are being jailed and acted upon in various countries. Do you see this as a sign of desperation?
Jai Bharti, Shivani. Thank you for inviting me. I think there are two different. So we are conflating, Canada and US as like one, whereas actually they are very, very different. And, I don't want to take the discussion in a different line. I'll just give you an example and that will underline the point. So, for example, in 1985, when they were, planning to, bomb the airliner, this Khalistan is in Canada. At the same time, they were trying to murder Rajiv Gandhi and bomb they were trying to get explosives. So in Canada, they managed with the bombing and they got away with it. Whereas in US, the FBI got the guy, his name was Gurpratap Singh Birk, and he was sent to 13 years of prison. So of course, like America is going through its own churning. But in terms of dealing with terrorism, it has a much, much better record. So hopefully, there would be consequences for what has happened in San Francisco.
No, but can I conversely, just to interrupt you, and you can continue with the Canada issue as well, which I know is the more serious issue. Because US is what it is, and because in US managing an attack like this is considered to be harder, don't you think in that respect the same embassy getting attacked twice in 5 months is a grave issue? Aren't they failing to protect this consulate?
Yes, so the thing is, so first, of course, with the internet, so a lot of things are, like coming together. And also, like US is going through a lot of, Shivani, you would be like blown away, So for example, in just this 2.5 years with this new government, I'm not into politics with Biden, but most of, these people, like this 65 lakh people, 6.5 million have crossed the southern border from Mexico into this. And, like I live in New York, so they mostly go to California and New York. And if you go here, like to this processing, you'll find like so many of them, almost as many as people from South America, like from India, from Punjab. So a lot of these illegal immigrants are joining. And, then I also did a disclosure of Simranjit Singh Mann, how these illegal immigrants use this thing of, Khalistan to basically get illegal asylum here. And then actually they have to attack the consulates because, then they get a police case and then they show, see the Indian government is going after us. So please give us asylum. So it's basically an entire mafia operation, of course, with the collusion of ISI, that this whole is happening. But things are really going out of control. I just, you have other guests. I just want to say, like they put this, poster of, Indian diplomats. And they're not just like some like clerk or something. They're like the senior most diplomats.
Consul General, yes.
And I'm just, right. And Shivani, I just want to make a question to all this. Imagine, like if you're an Indian citizen, if you're an Indian, so if you have a problem, what is the highest thing you can do? Like maybe the ambassador will look after your case, right? That is the highest thing you can imagine. So if they can do this, if they can paint a target on the back of the High Commissioner and the Consul General, they have basically terrified everybody into silence.
Yes.
What would the average Indian think? They can't do nothing. If
no, you're right
High
about
Commissioner
this.
Cannot do anything.
They have escalated this by quite a few levels. And G. Parthasarathy is joining us. He's one of our most experienced diplomats. Sir, how serious is the fact that diplomats, current serving diplomats, photographs and names are being published in these posters? This is a criminal act because you are basically painting a target on their back. This is, as clear as it gets. This is not about activism anymore. And the US must show the will to act on this. US, Canada, Australia, UK, all governments.
Look, let us be clear. I was in the US during the height of the Khalistan trouble in the embassy as the political counselor. The US has no sympathy for these people. That's one thing. The second thing is that the real threat is in Canada.
True.
You have to work. I'm sure the intelligence agencies know what they're doing, and we generally work pretty closely on such matters with American intelligence agencies, whether it is with the FBI or the CIA. So, yes, this is a threat, but just remember one thing. The real number of Khalistani extremists is based in Canada, not in the United States. And travel between the US and Canada is a very, very liberal thing. We have to work. And the other thing is, I don't trust Trudeau and the Canadians. They are playing footsie with the Khalistanis.
Yeah, he's
And
routinely
the
seen
government
with them.
can't say so, but as a private citizen, I can,
Hmm.
though a former diplomat. So I think the real problem lies in Canada, from where these people come. Even if you go through the history, I've been dealing with this since a very long time. The only serious Khalistani there died a couple of years ago. His name was Ganga Singh Dhillon.
Hmm.
So I think the US has a law and order agency. We'll have to work very closely with it. But for God's sake, we should not get rattled by it.
Okay.
Getting rattled by a terrorist is a fatal mistake. And let's not start scaring everybody about how bad it is. It is
Okay.
bad. And the embassy knows about it. And please believe me, we have a very good relationship with the US law and order authorities. And the other advantage we have now is the Indian community is very highly respected.
Yes.
And we will also have to work with the Indian community.
Can I ask
It
you,
is
sir?
going to be a time, but we shouldn't get hysterical about these things.
Fair enough.
These things happen, and you have to deal with it in due course.
Can I ask you, sir,
And
why
at the
doesn't the
same time, we
US
should be-
authorities, the country with which we have a better relationship on these issues, let's say, as you said, you're not so much
Than
with Canada. Why doesn't the US?
I regard Trudeau as a Khalistani, for God's sake.
No, I think he's proving himself to be a Khalistani. His actions speak louder than words. And you're right, he's been pussyfooting with the Khalistanis. He's seen regularly at Khalistani elements. And I'll come to that issue. But why doesn't the US, as an ally of India and as a friend of India, press even on its neighbor Canada? Why don't they do something jointly to ensure that the Canadians, that those who are in Canada or in US or who travel and try to mount these attacks can be caught and nabbed? Surely the intelligence agencies can share this intel and act on it.
Look, let's be real. The Khalistanis form a vote bank in Canada.
Precisely.
They have their own clout, and they have their own way of acting. The best we can do at this point in time, and I'm certain, given our friendly ties with the US, the Americans will spare no effort to cooperate with us. The other thing is, we also have to be careful. A large number of Sikhs, especially in the United States, I can say 99.9% of them are good, true Indians who have done us proud in the United States. The immigration pattern was different from in Canada, where everyone, all and sundry, gotten into. So you will not find the likes of the Khalistanis in the US that you find in Canada. The problem is different. So I think, yes, we will have to organize something tripartite with India, US, and Canada. But given the way President Trudeau has sort of acted, generally the Canadian establishment has acted, I think we need to take a far more serious view of our relations with Canada.
Okay.